Home? 20 years, Mort. 20 stinking, miserable years. Well, that'll be over soon.
Another 10 days. You gonna miss old 563?
Miss this godforsaken little asteroid? Not for a minute.
We'll miss your ugly face around here. At least I will.
I'm gonna miss your gloomy dorsipus, too. Mort, why don't you get out of it? You've had more years in space service than any of us. You've probably got enough credits to get out, too.
Me? I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Couldn't you go home?
You should know better than that.
The Denebrian trouble?
The Denebrian trouble?
You could go to Earth.
What for?
Ever been there?
Never once. And I've never wanted to. I've seen too many Earthmen. Like the kid over there.
He's green in service.
He's full of greed and stupid hate like the rest of them. No, that's not for me.
Looks as if the game's breaking up. Here he comes.
Well, if it isn't the big gambler from the windy planet. What's its name?
Lulungomina.
Yeah. How's the piggy bank coming, Dad?
The piggy's a gentleman, kid. He never overeats, so he won't ever get indigestion.
Sour grapes. You see this wad of credits? 500. How long you have to work for 500 credits, Dad? How many trips you have to make around this asteroid? How much closer to fall in your grave you have to come?
You look as if you made a killing.
I always make a killing. I'm a natural-born gambler. And I don't just talk about it like some.
I think I'll go out and take a turn around the station, Mort.
Fine, I'll go with you. It's, stuffy in here.
Don't bother. I'd rather be alone.
Big shot. Knocked around the planets for 35 years. Used to have a reputation as the hottest gambler in the systems. Comes from the most beautiful planet in the universe. Bull.
Why don't you lay off him? Kid, let me give you a piece of sound advice.
Go ahead.
Lay off Clay Harbank. He's been around the systems a lot longer than you have. He may not be any chicken, but he's a tough baby when the situation calls for it.
You trying to scare me, Mort? I thought you Dorsey guys were smarter than that. I'm beginning...
No, look, kid.
No, look. No offense, Morty. I mean, I wasn't trying to insult the Dorsey people or anything. I gotta go do a flight check. I'll see you.
We were in bad shape. The 20 of us at Frontier Station 563 on the very edge of the human area had gone sour. Half the men had applications for transfer in already. What I'd told the kid about Clay being tough, well, that was a bluff to keep him off. Nobody knew better than I did that Clay was burned out inside like a used-up rocket. I put on a spacesuit and went out to join him.
Oh, hi, Mort.
Hi.
Beautiful night, huh?
Nice.
Back on Lulungomina, on a night like this, the rakish flowers open up, and you can hear them singing. There are 6 moons, and every one of them is like a yellow lantern. My mom and dad and I used to live on the edge of a lotus pool. Here I go talking about home again.
Figures. A guy who's been saving up for 10 years to get home is bound to start thinking about it when the time comes.
I wish you could come with me, Mort.
Clay, tell me something.
Yes?
Do you ever get the urge to gamble again?
Do I get the urge to gamble? Mort, you ever watch a man who's been on PON for a while? When he's broken the habit, you can't get him near the stuff. He despises it. And yet, the same man is liable to go back on with no provocation. Well, that's the way it is when you've gambled all your life.
I figured.
Maybe that's why I keep talking about home. Every time I hear the kid flipping those cards in the recreation room, I start talking about home. Have you noticed?
I've noticed.
But this time I'm going to make it, Mort. I tried 3 times before. This time I've got the dough, and I know I'm going to make it.
I think you will, Clay.
You know what did it?
No.
Lulungomina. That's what saved me this time. The thought of that beautiful planet.
Well, when you get there, you can send me a photo tape. At the rate we get visitors, it should reach me in 5 or 6 years.
You'll be out by then. You'll be home.
I'll never go home, Clay. Never. Well...
That's Red 4.
Screens must have picked up a ship in the galaxy.
Maybe we'll get a visit.
Keep us from going loco anyway. Coming in?
No, I think I'll stay out a while.
Well, I'm going to check the screen. See you later. Red 4 meant simply that a ship was entering the galaxy. The chances of it touching down on 563 were pretty remote, unless it happened to need a clearance for Earth or Mars. The screen was black by the time I got there, but the kid was filing a report.
Oh, hiya, Mort. Hey, what's a Hixabrod like?
Why?
We're having one for a visitor.
You don't say.
I just came in over the receiver. What'll he be like?
A Hixabrod? Stiff as a poker, proud as Lucifer, honest as sunlight, and tied as a camel on his way through the eye of a needle.
What do they look like?
Oh, they're kind of humanoid, but they have a deadpan face that never changes, like a mask.
Oh, they're a little scary, I hear.
Oh, that's the green skin and the scales. Also, they run about 8 feet tall. I wouldn't tangle with one if I were you. Back on Denebria once, I saw a Hixabrod rip a man to ribbons with its claws.
Why?
The man made the mistake of insulting Hixa. That's one of the twin planets they come from.
Pretty touchy, aren't they?
Not really. They're a very level-headed race. You know the Hixabrod reputation, don't you?
No, you didn't hear much about them on Earth.
Well, they're the first and only mercenary political arbitrators in the known universe. A Hixabrod can be hired, but he's absolutely incapable of being influenced or bribed. He tells the cold truth and nothing but the cold truth. And, brother, when a Hixabrod tells you the truth, it's plenty cold.
It really lets you have it, huh?
They're a small race and very much in demand. If some kind of political dispute comes up from planetary to inter-alien, both sides hire a Hixabrod to represent them. That way they know the other side is being completely honest.
Oh, that's very interesting, you know. Very interesting.
I could tell there was something on the kid's mind, but of course I didn't know what it was. Most of the talk in the recreation room that night centered around the arrival of the Hixabrod. Landing beacons were turned on, and we waited for another radio communication.
Hey, anybody want to sit in on this next hand? What?
No, thanks.
Well, I know better than to ask the galaxy's foremost gambler here.
That's right, kid.
Well, maybe when this Hixabrod gets here, we'll be able to work up a decent game. Do Hixabrods gamble?
No, kid, they don't gamble.
That's too bad. Well, we can always sit and listen to you lying about what a beautiful place La Lungamina is.
Kid, you just went too far.
Yeah, you're going to do something about it?
That's right, I'm going to punch your little nose.
Hey, break it up! Break it up! Clay, you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Well, you better get to the infirmary. Have your mouth taken care of. Kid, you get to your quarters.
Since when are you giving orders?
I'm telling you to get to your quarters.
You better do what he says, kid. He's a Dorsai man.
That's all I've been hearing since I got here. What big gamblers come from La Lungamina and how Dorsai men are killers. So far, I've seen nothing, but I heard a lot of talk.
You're gonna get to your quarters? I'll give you 5 seconds to start moving.
You better go ahead, kid.
Okay, Mort. I'm letting you bluff me out of the game this time. Just remember, there's going to be other games. Next time, I won't be bluffed.
He left the recreation room. I felt a slight and not unpleasant shiver run down between my shoulder blades, and my eyes were still hot. I'd almost lost my control that time, and my senses told me I'd better be careful. For the next 3 days, the tension of 563 was almost unbearable. Clay Harbank seemed to age 20 years after the kid knocked him down.
Now hear this, all personnel. Now hear this, all personnel. A ship is approaching for flight check. A ship is approaching for flight check. Report to Central. Report to Central.
Well, this is it, Clay. We're getting the Hixabrod.
Seems almost like home having a Hixabrod with us. They're all over the Tarsian system, you know.
You speak Hixabrod?
You have to on Lulungamina.
Oh, I didn't know that. I picked it up during the 3rd exploration.
Long time ago, huh?
We're not getting younger, Clay.
Yeah. I found that out.
Ah, don't take it so big. He's just a punk kid.
Sure. And I'm just a dumb old man.
Ah, forget it. Ah, that's touchdown. You ought to be here in a minute. That does it. He's down.
Look at that ship, huh?
Let's go. You'll need some help with his baggage. The ship was a silvery one-man job, the kind that have taken the Hicksabrods all over the universe. The cabin door slid back, and the Hicksa stepped out. He was as green and scaly as a lizard, but there was a certain unmistakable dignity in his bearing. Since I spoke the language, I was the first to greet him. Belt the Hutch and Hicksabroad. Welcome to this place.
I greet you, Dorsai man.
My name is Mort Bianski.
I am called Dorlassis.
Come. I'll show you to your quarters.
Thank you.
How long will you remain here?
Only for one night. I wish clearance for Mars.
I'm sure it can be handled. This way. I wondered how he knew I was a Dorsai man. And then it seemed obvious. My broken nose, the scars, the lined face. Nobody could mistake a human from the Dorsai planets. Still, it scared me a little. I kept wondering if he had anything to do with interplanetary police. I tried to put it out of my mind. It was no use. Mind if I come in, Clay?
Sit down. Have a smoke.
Thanks.
Where's the Hicksabroad?
In his room, getting cleaned up for dinner.
Strange guys, aren't they?
Well, there's something even stranger going on.
What's that?
The kid's in there with him.
With the Hicks?
Mm-hmm.
What do you suppose they're talking about?
I don't know. I wish I did.
Kid's probably trying to get the Hicks into a dice game.
I doubt it.
What's on your mind, Mort?
Clay, you've been around. Are there any Hicksabroads in interplanetary police?
A few. Why?
I don't know. I just had a feeling, you know.
You're dreaming up bogeymen.
Maybe.
Besides, you're not in any trouble outside the Dorsai system.
I killed a human, Clay.
Not deliberately.
In a rage.
Happens all the time on Dorsai, doesn't it?
Not to an officer of Intergalactic.
Besides, that was 25 years ago.
There's no statute of limitations in the systems.
Nobody knows but me, right?
You don't have to be clairvoyant to wonder why a man hasn't been back to his home planet for 25 years.
You, think the kid...
I don't know. He's got no love for me.
Still, he doesn't know anything. How would he know this Hicksabroad is an agent, if he is?
Couldn't say.
Where are you going?
Well, I think I'll take a look at that message the kid filed. The one we got when we first picked up the Hicksabroad on the screens.
Let me know what you find, if anything.
I walked through the empty corridors to the communication center. I went directly to the files where incoming messages are kept and flicked the tab until I got to Notices of Arrivals. There, 2 days before, was a report of the arrival of Dorlassis. I ran my finger down the statistics until I came to the line that said, Point of Origin of Flight. It read, Tarsian Galaxy. That was where Clay Harbank's Lulongamina was. I read further, where it said Nature of Business. My blood ran cold as I spelled out the words criminal.
Come in.
Belt the Hutch and Hicksabroad.
I greet you, Dorsai man.
Is there anything you require?
Nothing, thank you.
I came to tell you that we'll have dinner tonight at 800 hours.
The young Earthman has already informed me.
There's a shortage of raw meat here.
I've brought my own food, thank you.
I see you came in from the Tarsian planets.
Yes?
You didn't happen to be in the Dorsai planets before that?
No.
Oh, I thought perhaps you might have some news.
I came from intergalactic headquarters.
Yes, I saw your flight check.
Then you know my mission.
Yes.
Good.
How long do I have to pack?
I will be leaving at 700 hours tomorrow morning. Can you be ready by then?
Yes, I guess so.
Good.
I don't suppose there's any point in appealing to you. Hicksabroads are supposed to be totally without emotion.
There is no point in appealing.
Funny thing. I've been running away from this moment for 25 years, and now that it's come, I'm glad. We'll be going back to the Dorsites?
Yes, to intergalactic headquarters.
After all these years. Home. I don't suppose a Hicksabroad knows what that feeling is like.
I will expect you at 700 hours. Now, if you don't mind, I wish to prepare my food.
One thing.
Yes?
Did the young Earthman tip you off about me?
No.
Funny. I could have sworn it was him. That was that. When a Hicksabroad tells you no, you can bet your life he isn't lying. I began to wonder how they located me. I began to wonder what he and the kid had talked about. I began to wonder a lot of things.
Well?
He's an agent for Intergalactic.
Well, that doesn't prove he's after you.
He is.
How do you know?
I just talked to him.
Lord in heaven.
It isn't so bad, really. Just think, I'll be going home.
I'm going to kill that kid.
Clay.
I'm going to kill him.
Clay, listen to me. The kid didn't turn me in.
You said...
I said he was talking to the Hicks. I just asked him, and the Hicks told me it wasn't the kid.
They don't lie.
So don't go blowing off.
It's going to be hard. 10 days.
It doesn't have to be 10 days.
What do you mean?
How many credits do you need to buy your way out?
Another 500. Next payday.
Don't wait.
Don't wait.
I have over 900 credits. I'll turn them over to you.
Mort.
Listen, I don't need them. You can pay off tomorrow and fly as far as the Tarzan chain with me and the Hicks.
It's a very nice thing, Mort.
Will you do it?
I'll think about it. Let you know after dinner.
I thought of running away, but there was really no place to run once they tracked you down. And the Hicksabroads were utterly relentless once they'd agreed to bring a man in. Since they had no feelings, they made no judgments. They were absolutely certain that a man would get a fair trial. I packed my stuff and went in to dinner. The Hicksabroad was at the head of the table eating his raw chinsu meat.
Pass the gravy, please. Dorlasis.
Yes?
They tell me that the Hicksabroad home planet is a very beautiful place.
It is true.
Well, I'm from Earth myself.
Yes.
I'm curious to know what this beautiful planet of yours looks like.
The kid's pretty talkative tonight. What's cooking?
I don't know, but I don't trust it.
The flora and fauna are maintained in excellent natural balance. No local surplus has exceeded 1% of the normal population for the last 60,000 years. Life on Hixa is predictable. The weather is controlled within the greatest limits of feasibility. The symmetry of the landscape is without parallel in the universe.
Very pretty picture. Very attractive home world. But I regret to inform you, Dorlasis, that I've been given to understand that it pales into insignificance when compared with another beauty spot in our universe.
Your Earth?
I wish I could say yes. No. This place is so wonderful, I doubt if an Earthman like me could get in. In fact, I've never seen it. But I've been hearing about it for some months now. And either it's the most wonderful place in the universe, or the man who's been telling me about it is a rotten liar.
Get your gun, kid. Get your gun.
Why guns?
You call me a liar.
Why use guns when it's possible to prove the thing one way or another with complete certainty? For months now, you've been telling me two things. One, that you used to be a gambler. Two, your precious Lulungamina is the most wonderful place in the universe. The question is either statement true?
They're both true.
You'll back them up?
With my life.
I'm not asking you to back them with your life. Just back them with that nice little hoard you've been accumulating all these years.
Clay, don't.
Well, you said you were a gambler. Bet with me and prove it.
Suppose I do. How do we prove my statement about Lulungomina?
It's easy. We have with us at this table a Hicksabroad. In a conversation with him, I found out that he's just visited every planet in the Tarsian chain. Now, as everyone knows, a Hicksabroad never lies. Do you think you could judge this point, Dorlasis?
The point can be judged.
Well, gambler.
Clay, it's a trick. Don't bet.
How much will you bet, kid?
All I got. The equivalent of 10 years' pay. Well?
You're on.
Dorlasis, okay if I question you?
Proceed.
You've been to the planet in the Tarsian chain, which this man calls his home?
I must ascertain the position of the planet.
The fourth planet.
Ah, yes. The one with 6 moons.
That's it.
I've been there recently, as you well know, since we spoke of it only this afternoon.
We did speak of it, that's true. Now, will you tell me, you know the planet?
Yes.
You know its geography.
I do not repeat myself.
Is it a large planet?
No.
Is it a rich planet?
No.
Was there not a rain of radioactive fallout from an explosion of a nearby star only 5 months ago?
There was.
Did it not destroy every piece of vegetation and leave this planet a gutted, smoking ruins, charred and ugly?
It did.
Well, gambler?
You haven't asked him the main question yet, kid.
Would you like to ask him?
All right. Hixabrad, the question to be judged is this. Is Lulongomina the most beautiful and the most wonderful place in the universe?
Yes. It is.
What?
Well, kid?
It's a trick. It's a rotten trick. I don't believe it. The Hexes...
The eyes of the Hixabrad were narrow and baleful as he pushed back his chair. You could almost feel them burning as he dragged his scaly feet over toward the kid. He stopped about 6 inches from the kid and held both his hands up, palms near the kid's eyes. There was a clicking sound, and we watched 11 sets of gleaming razor-like claws shoot up from the tips of the Hixabrad's fingers. Their points were almost against the kid's eyes.
Look at my hands, Earthman. Are they not clean?
Yes.
Do you doubt that I have told the truth?
No.
Then there is nothing further to discuss. I bow to you, gentlemen. I thank you for your hospitality. You will excuse me.
We stood around and watched that proud, frightening figure drag itself out of the room. The kid was trembling like a leaf as he drew a bank draft for 10 years' pay and handed it to Clay Harbank. The next morning, Clay and I boarded the Hixabrad ship, and 4 days later, we touched down at the outer planet of the Tarsian chain.
Well, this is where I get off, Mort. I don't know what to say, really. I guess you know how I feel.
Think I do, Clay? Let's just say so long.
There will be no need for goodbyes.
What?
Both of you are leaving the ship here.
But I thought
I intend to return to intergalactic headquarters empty-handed.
Empty-handed? But they'll question you. What will you tell them?
The truth, of course.
But
you have told me nothing.
But I assumed...
I am not interested in your assumption. You asked me my mission. I told you it was a criminal investigation. You said you assumed you would go back with me, and I told you when my ship was departing. There is nothing more to be said.
But surely you know...
Mort, don't say anything. The Hixabrad deals only with facts, what is absolutely known. They're the most literal beings in the universe. Let it go at that.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I am grateful for the pleasure of your company.
5 minutes later, Clay Harbank and I shook hands at the exit of the spaceport on Tarsus 10. But before we parted, there was one thing I had to know. Clay, one thing before you go.
Yes?
How did you know the Hixabrad would lie about Lulongomina?
He didn't lie, Mort. The Hixabrad never lies.
But Lulongomina...
Mort, let me tell you something. Lulongomina is a word in use throughout the Tarsian planets. Actually, it's a Hixabrad word. It means home. All I did was ask the Hixabrad if home was beautiful. He simply said yes. And a Hixabrad, as everybody knows, doesn't lie.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features the Finn O'Donovan novelette Bad Medicine, the story of a robot therapist that never failed to effect a cure, even if it had to convert itself into a typhoid Mary to do so. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Lulongomina, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Gordon R. Dixon and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Ralph Camargo, Ned Weaver, Jack Grimes, Bob Hastings, and Kermit Murdoch. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
X-1 came to you from our Radio City studios in New York. Next week, listen to Project Mastodon, Clifford Seamock's story on X-1. Follow the news with Chet Huntley tonight on the NBC Radio Network.
morning, people. How are you? I got a mouthful of cereal bar here. Good morning, Bessie. Hi, Bessie. You want some coffee? Oh, you want some of my cereal bar? Oh, I get it. Is that better? Is that better? You got your little sweet tooth? All right, it's gone. I'm going back to bed. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I'm doing okay. I assumed I would be in recovery all week from the drive to Arizona. But I feel pretty not bad. Well, not horrible. I always feel like shit. But I'm doing all right today. Doing all right. Wife and daughter went out last night with some family friends. Went to the movies. It was a girls' night out. So my girls and the other girls, and they all went out and did stuff. Cool. That's good stuff. Can you hear the slurping and the glurping? That means it's good. That means it's A-okay. So I heard my brother's got some COVID going on. COVID schmovid. It's the fucking flu, dude. They'll say everything's a fuck. I have a heart attack, and they'll say you died of COVID. It was a heart attack due to complications from COVID. He died from diarrhea with complications from COVID. Give me a break. It's a bummer you're sick, but I doubt it's COVID. I don't think there ever was a COVID. I think they just doctored up a flu. You know, just like they doctored up the Twin Towers. Just like they doctored up, you know, weapons of mass destruction. That's all a hand job is all it is. It's just a fucking hand job. The old, USG hand job. Pardon my bump. The old USG hand job. That's all it is. Yeah. Sure, I had the COVID. It was just a flu. It's a harsh flu. It's a hell of a flu. It's a bad flu, but it's just a flu. It's just a doctored up flu. That's all it is. I know, all of you. Oh, but you didn't have the realistic, scientific state. I'll give you a fucking break. I know that the USG has been full of shit for the last 100 years or longer. Probably longer. I guess they've been full of shit as long as they've been signing treaties with locals and breaking them. I think it was 177 treaties that the United States government signed with Native American tribes, right? And broke every single treaty. Every single one. They never held up their end of the bargain once. And they're supposed to be trusted. Why? No wonder a lot of people, outsider people like me, don't trust the U.S. government. Because they can't be trusted. Right? They just cannot be trusted. First of all, the administration's changed so quick that you cannot trust that anything that you do is going to stay in place, or anything that you attempt to do is even going to happen. Right? And then it's all about control, manipulation, making that money. I mean, it ain't for us. It definitely ain't for us. Ain't none of it for us. Unless you're a part of the government. Unless you're a part of that. that hierarchy, that upper echelon, right? Maybe I should get my daughter to be a Washington head shrinker, so she can have that ooh-ah life, right? Like, oh my God, I'm so special. Everybody looks at me and says, oh my God, so special. I'm feeling a little bit feisty this morning, to say the least. Feisty. I guess that's probably the right word. Yeah. What'd I do last night? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I sat here at my computer console and probably made two videos and watched Chips. And I believe got into bed by 8:30. It's about 9 o'clock, I think. The girls didn't get home till well after 10. Couldn't have been before that. Yeah. So I got in bed last night and we just put another TV in our room. One of my wife's friends gave us a really nice curved Samsung, really beautiful picture on it. Everything works. They just upgraded, and they had this TV that's perfectly fine that most people would have just set outside on the sidewalk or thrown in the fucking landfill, right? So he offered it and we took it, brought it home, switched out our little TV in the bedroom for the bigger TV, and got it hooked up to the cable box, but none of the apps are programmed with the right passwords, right? I'm not going to get on somebody else's Netflix and fuck with their programming. So we have to figure out how to, change all of the app settings, which means I got to dig through and see if I got passwords for everything, which sucks. Usually my daughter can, take a picture of one of those things on the screen and then just use, one of the phones to deal with it. The logging. But, yeah. The TV, I'm sitting in bed last night and it's like, I usually put on Netflix because there's no commercials and I can just pop on one of the movies that I go to sleep with. And I was like, shit, there's no Netflix. And there's no timer on the TV either that I can find right now. So I put on YouTube and I went to my channel and I popped on an X-1. Oh no, a Night Beat. I popped on a Night Beat that I hadn't heard yet. And then realized that I had heard it. After I was about halfway through, I was like, oh wow, I remember this from a decade ago. And so I listened to that and dozed off listening to that. Girls got home. I turned the TV off and they dicked around out here for like an hour. So I just, oh, you're home. Okay, love you, good night. And I was out. So I did pretty good last night. I think I was well asleep by 11 and unconscious by 12. Of course, I got up twice in the middle of the night to do the usual maintenance. And like that. Like that there. Hey, you. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. You want to buy a watch? I don't know, man. I don't need a watch. Hey, buddy. You want to buy a dog? I don't know, man. That's like... I don't have the room for it. Hey, buddy. You want to buy a watchdog? All right, that's enough of that. You just knock that shit off. Leave him alone, Harry. He's incoherent, but he's comfortable. Yeah. So how's it going out there in the world? Anybody want to send me a message? It's Television Tuesday. You guys want to watch some TV stuff from my channel? I can pop it on, and we can go, ooh, ah. So yeah, so I was like talking to my daughter about emo music, right? And then I created the genre of primo music, right there in the car, driving down the road on the 10. We created primo, the genre primo, which is pre-emo music, right? So we got pre-emo music, and we're listening to the Raspberries, Cruel to Be Kind, and I told her, look, this is like one of the first primo songs from like the 70s and stuff. And she's just shaking her head like, oh man, this dude's lost it. And pre-primo is preemie. She's just, no dad, no. Bad father, stop it. Hey, I gotta be me. Yeah, because if I ain't weird, ain't nobody else in this house gonna do it. I'm probably the weirdest guy in my town. I mean, there's some weird people, but they're more strange than weird. People are strange when you're a strange. Oh, look, my door's shut. Weird is more like Weird Al, Dr. Demento, the Three Stooges. Strange, weird is one of those carnival freaks, the guys that put the implants under their skin, or the human enigma, right? The guy with the puzzle pieces tattooed all over his body. The guy's on X-Files decades ago. Yeah, weird. That's weird, strange, weird. That's bizarre weird. So there's many different categories of weird. What kind of category of weird are you? I'm just like your old weird guy, weird. Actually, crazy old weird bearded guy, weird. That's what kind of weird I am. What kind of weird are you? Yeah, I still gotta find some romper room. Hey. Hey. No, really. So I have here in front of me the program guide for next week. 5 more X-1s. That's kind of the end of the week's going to take us up to episode 65 out of 120 some episodes. So we're about halfway through X-1. Which is pretty heavy, because that's a lot. You know, that's a lot. But we were doing one a week. You know, when we were doing Old Time Radio Wednesdays only. So a month and a half left of X-1s. Is that what, about 60 episodes? Yeah, about 65 episodes. Yeah, it's about a month and a half-ish. And then I've got Dimension X lined up. I think that's going to be the next one. And I believe Dimension X was the parent series. And after that series concluded, they brought it back as X-1, if I'm not mistaken. That's the way it worked. I'll have to do a little research. I'm pretty sure I have all of the X-1s on my my old graphics computer here on the hard drive, the external hard drive there, right? Let's see, X-1, we gotta go to external hard drive 2, and then we go to the third, or the second on the external hard drive. Go to music, go to Old Time Radio Collection, go to Dimension X, that's what we want. Dimension X, 45, items. Okay. It doesn't give me a date. It doesn't give me dates on these shows. Okay. I don't know. This might be the spin-off. There's so much on here. Pardon me. That is from... Yeah, so much of this is from X-1. Or so much of this is on X-1. I don't know. Let me go ahead and do a little bit of research. I mean, it's not old-time radio day. It's TV day. But that's okay, because this is my show, and I can do bloody well whatever I please. Let's see. Let's go with Dimension. Did I mention? CNX radio show. Yes. Adult anthology series, adult drama. Alright. Here we go, we're going in 50 to 51, yeah, so this was, well, that was almost 5 years earlier. Isaac Asimov, Robert Bloch, Ray Bradbury, Frederick Brown, Robert Heinlein, Murray Leinster, H.B. Piper, Frank M. Robeson, Clifford D. Simak, William Tenn, Jack Vance, Kurt Vonnegut, Jack Williamson, Donald A. Wollheim. Ernest Kenoy and George Lefferts adapt most of the stories. So this is just like X-1. Most of the same authors. That's just beautiful. Number of episodes, 50. So what does that mean? That I am looking at repeat episodes, and 45 is enough? Okay, so we got 50 episodes. Okay, so what I have to do now is copy this list from Wikipedia, right? We'll copy this Wikipedia list and pop it into a Word program, so then I can print it out and start checking it off once I get all of those episodes. First of all, I have to get the episodes downloaded onto my computer. I've got, like I said, 45 out of the 50. I have to make sure that there's another 5 somewhere that they're not repeats. So I'll dig through the list and compare them, and then I'll get on my internet resources and find any other ones if I need to find them. Let's see, let's bump this up a bit. Alright. So it's only like 3 pages. That's great. Dimension X. Good old Dimension X. It's a hell of a show. NBC Radio, 1950 to 1951. That's it. Yeah, that's all there is to it, yeah. Norman Rose was the announcer. Fred Collins was the announcer on X-1. And what was really neat was that Fred Collins actually was in episodes one famous episode as himself, I believe. The discovery of Mornial Mathaway, I believe, was the episode. It's just warm. I need hot. All right, let me save this in the OTR files here. Let's see. Morning show. OTR files. Dimension X. There we go. All right. There's that. That's funny. That's funny. Sitting here talking to myself, right? Talking to whoever is listening, but at the same time, I'd still be sitting here doing the same thing, talking to myself. I just wouldn't be addressing anyone, right? Because I'd be talking to myself. Hello. Funny stuff. All right, there's my Dimension X. Yeah, so they recreated a lot of these. Some of these they just rebroadcast. And they even leave on the Dimension X. They just, put the record on, basically. Alright, so 1950 to 51. 50 episodes. First Contact there. Let me see if I can find First Contact again. No Contact. A Logic Named Joe. Rebroadcast, no contact. Okay. So there it is. That's it. It's rebroadcast April 29th, October 8th, October 28th, and April 29th. So there's one that's a rebroadcast. Green Hills of Earth is a rebroadcast. Mars is Heaven is a rebroadcast. Nightmare. No. So there's 3, 4, Universe. And I guess maybe I missed one. So far I only find 4 rebroadcasts, which means I'm probably just missing one episode. And now I have to find that episode. Because I have many of these on X-1, but they're different episodes. different cast, different director. The writer's probably the same because the episode is the same on X-1 as it is in Dimension X. So there's that. I've counted them several times, and all I get is 4 rebroadcasts. Right, 45, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So there's one missing somewhere from my list, from my bank of Dimension Exorcises. Warming it up. Coming in for a landing. Alright, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be borrowing my daughter's Switch and bringing it in here and hooking it up to this into one of the camera ports, and I am going to be sharing with you some of the worlds that I have created. Some of the many worlds that I have created. It should be quite ridiculous. It really should be quite strange. So I will be, as soon as I get it all hooked up and everything, and I know exactly what I'm going to do, then I will start letting people know, hey, I'm going to be doing this. And what I will probably do is I will set it up so that I can share some things in the morning, and then I will decide, okay, look, I'm not doing anything this day. On this day, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to play I'm going to play Minecraft on my channel live for X amount of hours, and just run around adventurizing in my world. There's one main world that I created. I don't remember the file name, the name of the world. I just remember that it takes up several maps, square map areas, right? So it takes up several of these, and I've created highways and byways and stuff that connect all of the important features of the world, the villages, the mines, the portals, the places that I've created along the pathways. And so if anybody's going to be interested in hanging out and doing some Minecrafting type stuff. And what's really neat about that is not only can I do me sitting here playing, right, on my own Minecraft world, but I can link it up so that now I've got somebody else playing with me on the same world, and they're wherever they are, and I'm here live, and that should be interesting. I'm going to have to check it out and do some tests on speed and accessibility as far as the internet goes. If I do too much while I'm doing live stuff, it'll slow my live down, right? Because there's only so many kilobytes per second to do this, and I'm chewing up about 7,777, and it goes above and below that. Usually stays up around 775. But yeah, that should be fun. So if anybody's familiar, I know we're all a bunch of old crusty people, but or most of us. Well, I am anyway. So I don't want to speak out of turn. But some of you may not know what Minecraft is. Most of you probably do. If everybody knows, you know, Chevron gasoline and Disney and Hershey's bars, you probably by this time everybody knows Minecraft. It's just one of those things that's everywhere. We've probably got parents out there and people who are wearing Minecraft gear, right, shirts, and they've never played it, they've never seen it, they have no idea what it means or what it is, yet they're wearing a Minecraft shirt. Yeah, my grandkid got this for me. I got at Walmart. It was $5. Well, whatever. We found out about Minecraft before we had an Xbox, and my daughter watched, when she was younger, she watched on YouTube. She watched tons of gaming videos, and her favorites were the ones with Minecraft, right? And, you know, some weird people that would sit and play these games and stuff. And so we got into watching these videos, right, and learning about this weird game. And eventually we got an Xbox. My father's wife bought my daughter one for her birthday or Christmas or something. So Aunt Grandma sent one over with Minecraft, which was, you know, like, wow. You know, yeah, you ask what the kid wants for Christmas, that's what she wants. So we got that, and we played it religiously for years and years. Of course, the Xbox One died. I kept the account alive, Xbox Gold. I kept that alive. So all the information should be safe, cached away. I just need to get on and access it. So I'm going to have my daughter hook me up and try to get me onto those worlds that I've saved. Now, we created one world together that was called the Mutterlode, Mutterload, Mutterlode. And mainly because we went around and collected dogs. We encompass all of these maps grouped together, right? And connect them with roads, and then build along the roads. And then every place we went, we would gather up the dogs, and you give a dog a bone, and he becomes your friend. So we would have dogs everywhere, and we'd have fun naming the dogs, right? Doing stuff with the dogs. So it became a world that's kind of started about the dogs. But we did so many things and created so many things within this world. We would devote an entire area to building a city from scratch, right? Nobody there, and then populating it, putting villagers in Minecraft carts and sending them down paths to get to new villages, and then that's where they live from then on. So we rehomed a lot of different types of villagers, but that became one of our things, was to move people around as well as just create stuff out of scratch. But I mean, we really did some crazy stuff. I created every scene, or almost every scene, from the movie Goonies, right? You go down a path, and you go down to the beach, and when you get to the beach, you look through. You put a coin in your hand and you hold it up, right? And you aim through these rocks, and you look through the rocks, and there's the holes in the rocks, and you see a lighthouse through the rocks. And then you follow this trail to the lighthouse. You get to the lighthouse, you go down into the lighthouse where you're locked in a room, and you have to push the fire back in the fireplace and go down into a hole, right? It's bizarre. The whole thing, you go down into the, you follow all the way through to the pirate ship. There's a pirate ship inside of a cave. It's the whole trip of the Goonies, from one end of the beach in through the cave and then out to the other end of the beach. You know, I also did portions of the movie The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, because that was a fun movie. You remember where he goes underground to get the Ayanti dagger in Tibet? I don't want to go to Tibet. It's cold in Tibet. So I created that dungeon down there. We need to get somebody to come clean up down here. So you can go down there, you can have a toast to Monty, you can grab a glass of water, and you can trek through. And be careful to stay on the path, but you must know when to deviate from the path. And then you get to the end, and you drink the water, and you take the dagger, and you sit around, you know, and you're with a kid who's like, okay, what do we build? And you pull from your own imagination and your own past, and it's like, well, why don't we, you remember that movie? Why don't we build that? And I'm like, well, okay, let's do that. We built entire gaming areas where you could go in, and you could do a timed event where you got to go in, you got to hack through blocks, right? You got to gather materials and then go to the next room, and then you get in there and you got to do a task there, right? And then you go to the next room and you got to do another task, and you go around and you start off, and it's like Ninja Warrior, right? Where you go around and then you come around to the end and you meet, and going down a line and side by side, and whoever gets to the finish line first wins, right? We've got places where you can send your dog through an obstacle course. Yeah, there's just so many things. I can't wait to hook it up and share some of it with you, because it's really bizarre when you think outside the box. And we never, for the first couple of years we played the game, we never played by the game rules. We just went in and just did our own thing, right? We didn't try to build up our stats to accomplish a specific goal to take us to the end of the game, you know. We just never did that, right? And we still have only done a few things to do kind of an end thing. I think we fought the Ender Dragon once, and we go to with that fire world, right? Yeah, lots of fun. People are posting. People are awake and posting to you. So yeah, I'll probably get in now that I don't know, I'm through my dark days. Let's see, today's Tuesday, right? It's Entirely Television Tuesday. So if it's Tuesday, I do not have to wake up the wife today. That's tomorrow. Let's see. Well, what did we do yesterday? Oh, so we went out and we went to AutoZone to try to find those little plastic clips that hold the bumper fender flare, big chunk of plastic up underneath the front of the car, right? It's just the thing to keep the wind and the air moving in the right direction and keep it aerodynamic, right? So, and it had come loose on my trip to Arizona the other day. So we got it fixed and put back up in the right spot, and we taped it up there. And, you know, so we went out to shop for some clips, and we found lots of clips, but we couldn't find exactly what we wanted in a little 2-pack. And the big giant box of various types of clips. They were too expensive. They were car specific, like especially for Ford, right? But it was like 30 or 40 bucks, $30 to $60, depending on the quantity and the size. And it's like, okay, well, how much is a tool? And the tool was like, I couldn't even find the price of the damn tool. Like, all right, screw it. Let's go. And then on the way home, it was like, you know what? Let's stop by Harbor Freight. Actually, we were going to go by another auto store, but we passed it and didn't realize it until we were too far past it. So I said, okay, well, let's go to Harbor Freight and see what they got there as far as a battery charger, and see if we're going to want to charge the battery and put it in that car and drive it someplace to get a few more bucks for it, or if we're just going to call and have somebody haul it away for $100. So while we were there, I went over to look at the tools to try to find that little tool to remove the clips, right, for door panels and body panels and that kind of shit. And there they are, a whole big giant packs of them and stuff. And then I found one tool that was just the tool. You know, I didn't need to haul all these different tools. I just needed the one tool. So we got that, and my wife found a box for half the price of the assortment box over there. She found it at Harbor Freight. And it was a great deal. It had multiple pieces in there that would fit the bill for what we needed. And there would be like 20 of each, right? Or 12 of each out of 20, times 20 different styles. So it was really, or whatever. But it was really cool to get that. So today we'll go out there and fiddle with that and get that locked back up under there, and then probably add a little strip of tape on the seam to make sure that it doesn't want to come off of there the next time we hit a dip, because I'm pretty sure that's what it did. I think we just hit a dip or a pothole or something. I remember a few road issues where it was like, we maybe it was something like that pulled it loose and flipped it back. But luckily it didn't flip back too far. It only kind of folded or bent, didn't fold, just kind of bent back a little bit. So it was an easy fix. So we'll get that done. We didn't go by Home Depot, wasn't any reason. We did go by the store and pick up a few things. Stuff for dinner and lunch and whatnot, so we wouldn't have to go out the rest of the week. Even though my wife will go out tomorrow, pick up a few things if we need it. But I made that chili. Well, my wife made it, actually, over the weekend. I wasn't... I was trying to save my strength for the trip to Arizona Sunday. So we had chili on Saturday, and I came back Sunday from Arizona and had more chili. The rest of the chili is in the freezer, so I can pull a bag of chili out, thaw it, and make a couple of biscuits, and good. That's good eating right there. So, yeah. I'll probably have soup again tonight. I got a little more of that broccoli cheddar soup that I had last night. Probably have another grilled cheese and soup. Or have it for lunch, depending on what's for dinner. So usually I have something completely different, depending on what we're having. If we're having something that just doesn't taste right to me anymore, I'm not even going to try to eat it, because I'll just be disappointed. So, yeah, I will usually opt for something that I know still tastes the same, or it's something new that I've been doing, and something new, you don't have to think, well, it don't taste the same as it used to, because there ain't no used to. There ain't. I think what I'll probably do is I keep putting off cleaning up this room and vacuuming and dusting. It's been a couple of weeks now, and I hate to let it go more than a week. And when I do clean it up and unclutter it, then I feel more productive, and I feel like I can do things. I just got this stack of 8-track cases over here, just filled with 8-tracks. So I got like a couple of hundred 8-tracks sitting over here in cases. And since I put this vent up where they used to be, maybe I can still fit them up there, just differently, right? So there's that. So they're a big stack of stuff in the room. I've got a box that I've got to ship here, and things have just been slow, so I haven't had a chance to invest any money into doing that. But there's, yeah, if I can unclutter this place, then I can start working on some projects. At least have that. I mean, what's neat about having a whole bunch of projects to do is that when it's slow, you don't need anything to start these projects because they're ready. I could grab a box of 8-tracks, 8-track cartridges, open them up, remove the bad pad, change the splice on it, the foil splice, clean it, lube it, dust it, put it back together, magic eraser the outside and clean it really, really good, put it in a bag, after it's tested, and boom, out here in tourist town, that's $15. I just made $15. It usually takes about 15 minutes, right, per cartridge. 10 to 15 minutes, depending on, and then longer if it's a bummer. And then I just set the bummers aside and then do a bummer day, right? So I can put out 80 to 108 tracks in one day. Take them apart, clean them, do the maintenance on them, put them back together, all lubed and tested and ready to go in about 15 minutes. But I need a working 8-track player, and so I have to work on that. I might just send it, well, see, there you go. What I would like to do is just send it to somebody who knows how to repair that specific model and have them fix it for me. Because it's real important to have a good working 8-track player that you can set it for, to stop at the end of a track. So therefore, when it stops, you pull it out and you can see the foil splice right there. Right, so you know that it's been changed. You can push on the pad and you know that it's a new pad. And then what would be really neat would be to have a clear plastic, like 30 mil plastic channel that sticks over the top, because they make these little, most old 8-tracks used to come with a little black plastic cap that slipped over to cover the tape and the foil and everything, kind of kept the tape sealed up, right? What I'd like is the same thing, only in clear plastic, right? So that when it's bagged up with that clear plastic piece on it, you can see that it's all bright and shiny and clean, and then you can flip it up, and through that clear plastic you can see the new splice and the tape and everything, and make sure that it's not all wrinkled and horrible. See that it's got a new pad, and inspect it. Right. So that, that's something. I could do that. I could get one sheet of 30 mil plastic, cut it into strips, cut those strips into little skinny strips, and then create a hot wire bending table, right, with a low voltage wire and a pedal, so it just pushes that wire up and down through a crack in a table, and you can slide the plastic over that crack and bring that wire down and heat up that plastic, and then you can bend the plastic, right? I did this for a living with a friend, and create little plastic channels, right, that you can slip over the front of an 8-track. That would be awesome. After making those strips and cutting those strips down to smaller strips, you would have to take the corners and round the 4 corners and then bend the ends up, bend the sides up, so that it's a long channel that slips down over the tape. I know I've probably got one on a tape here somewhere. But I could sit here and I could pump out, you know, in one day I could pump out 80 to 100 refurbished 8-tracks and get $15 a pop for them here in town to the tourists, right? And if I had working 8-track players to sell, I could make bank. A lot of people are into that retro vintage stuff. There's one old guy, a little older than me, who goes around, and I've run into him a few places where he'll go in looking for 8-tracks, and he'll say, how much you want for these? And I don't pay more than, you know, $1 a piece, or I don't pay more than 50 cents or a quarter a piece, you know. I take them and I clean them up and I refurbish them. You know, and I'm thinking, well, wow, that's neat. I do the same thing. But I'll pay, you know, an okay price. You know, I'll pay $5 for one that I know I can get 25 for, you know. Sure. So I've got boxes and boxes and shelves, drawers and cases just filled with 8-tracks. So there's going to come a time. There's going to come a time when I'll probably just sit here live and rebuild 8-tracks. Okay, it's rebuilding 8-tracks day. All right, next day is you know, Minecraft day. Ooh, a day where we can sit and edit video together. Right? Sure, why not? So that's part of the programming after the summer is over and I get done with all of this summer programming, which is all these movies and shows and stuff. I'm going to go back down to my you know, radio shows and my own videos at some point. And I want to get into doing more live stuff and diverse live shows. So I'll just do random shows. Hey, I'm gonna be here on this day doing this. Anybody want to show up? And I'll be on there long enough so that, you know, wow, he's been on there 3 hours and he's still going. And just sit there building 8-tracks. 8-tracks, 8-tracks, 8-tracks. What I need is a disc washer, right? Anybody knows where to get a good disc washer, send it to me. So I could go through all of my records and clean them. I need to go through every single LP and pull them out and put them in a disc washer and let them clean and clean out all of my grooves on every single disc. And that's thousands, right? Not to mention the hundreds and hundreds of 45s and the hundreds of 78s. I've also got cassettes that I need to rebuild. I need to put new pads and lube a lot of these old cassettes because they lose their pads. The pads go crappy. The tapes get sticky. You know, everything just needs to be cleaned out. Every once in a while, you got a spring cleaning. So I've got a great Panasonic 8-track player recorder behind me, up on the shelf here. But it needs something. I can't remember what it needs. I think it was either the motor was slowing down or one of the channels, left or right channel, went out. It was something like that. It's usually something like that. If it's the left and right channel, I can usually figure that out by spraying stuff in certain areas and cleaning it up. Right? Or it's a capacitor blown out or something like that. It stopped working and I just kind of didn't have time, so I moved on. I had already rebuilt like hundreds and hundreds of 8-tracks. I've got drawers and cases just filled with 8-tracks that have been rebuilt. What I need to do is go through, like I'm cataloging all my movies for YouTube. I need to go through and I need to catalog all of my 8-tracks. And then I need to put, you know, I need to clean them, repair them, bag them, and tag them. Right? I need to do that with most of the stuff that I have that's vintage, because at some point it's either going to get sold or donated or given away, right? So I need to make sure that if it's sold, it gets the price that is required of it, right? Because some of this stuff ain't cheap, and wasn't, and is worth more now. And some of the stuff I want to make sure it doesn't given away because it needs to be sold, and the stuff that is given away, it needs to be labeled for as, whoever it's going to be given to, kind of a thing. Because I won't be around to do it. Like I've got 3 of these. This reel-to-reel down here, behind me, over my shoulder. That reel-to-reel down there. All right. That right there was worth $500 brand new in 1981. Right. It's worth $500 now, in 2024. Because it is in perfect condition. It is all original. It has new belts. It's been rebuilt and cleaned up in the last 5 years. So it's ready for another 30 or 40 years, right? I have another one up here, right there on the shelf, that I use to record stuff onto my computer. So I'll aim a camera at it and pipe that into my audio and hit record and record a whole show and then put it into my editing program and edit out the music that I can't use. And then it becomes a video, right? So that reel-to-reel there and then this one here, they're exactly identical. They are the TR-3000 from Realistic, which is actually a teak model in realistic makeup, and it is a really, really sought after and reliable reel-to-reel player for collectors, right? And not only do I have these 2, but in my storage out here I have another one in an original box with the anti-static bag on it and the instruction manual and the original cables and everything, and I have 2 of these original take-up reels, realistic take-up reels. I have their original boxes. So one of those reel-to-reels can be sold for more than it was paid for back then because it's all original, it's in perfect condition, and it's in the box, the original box, right? With all of the stuff that goes with it. And it gets one of these take-up reels, goes with it, as well as brand new reel-to-reel tapes on the reel, unopened, in boxes. I've got an entire box, right, filled with unopened, realistic Radio Shack reels, brand new, never been used. Not to mention the stacks of reels that I have, used reels, stuff with tape of professional reels. I've got stuff like stuff out of the Bible on stuff, old radio stuff, people's collection of records, and I'm always looking for, just like that 8-track guy, I'm looking for cheap stacks of reels. Because I find a lot of nostalgia in those things. So, these reel-to-reel machines back here, I imagine 2 of them get sold, and one of them probably goes to my brother. Right? So all of these things need to have little tags and labels on them so that after I'm gone, you know. And everybody should plan that. I mean, it seems morbid, but everybody should plan this. You know, you should be able to walk around your house and you pick up something really important and special, and it's like, yeah, this is, you know, means a lot to me, and you know, tell the story behind it and everything. And maybe you look over on the bottom, and stuffed up inside of it is a little scroll that talks about what this thing is. And then along with that, there's a little tag on there that says, please give this to so-and-so, or please sell this for X amount of dollars and use that money toward a vacation or whatever, you know, or toward my burial or whatever it is, you know. But I think everybody should spend a little time to go around their house and look at the things that really mean something to them and decide what to do with them ahead of time, you know. You don't necessarily have to make lists like me, you know, and catalog everything. I have to do it because there's so many, you know, like I got 6 of these cameras and I got, you know, 800 of these, you know, cassettes, and it's just, it gets off the wall. So I have to say, okay, look, this bunch of stuff, you know, it has to go together. It creates a collection that I've curated, and you can't sell them separately. You have to take this, if you put it all together in this pile is worth way more than their individual parts, right? So that's a thing. So I have to figure out what that is. What are those groups? How much is this one thing worth? And how much should it be sold for? No less than this. But try to get this, right? And just have 2 numbers. You know, a red number means you can't go lower than this number. A green number means this is the number you're shooting for. And you just go for any number in between, right? When you're selling it. I could do that. That's pretty easy. That's pretty basic, you know. You put a photo and a price and the information that goes with that thing, you know, because everything should have its own information. And then you post it, you know, with a photo, the information, and a price. Somebody's gonna, you know, yes or no. They'll make an offer, yes or no. I would imagine that if you sold off most of the stuff that I've collected here, you could probably get $10,000 to $30,000, depending on what's given away and what's sold and what stuff is worth at the time, right? But and it only means that much to people who care about it, right? You can't, you know, nobody's going to pay more than, you know, $5 to $25 for one of these reel-to-reel machines back here, right? Unless they know what it's worth, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'll pay $500 for that. You know, that's the box and everything. You're going to, how much for all of this other, a whole big package, the whole, you know, all of a sudden, boom, I own a reel-to-reel and reels and microphones and headphones and everything, right? Boom. All vintage, all original. So that's what I'm shooting for. You know, you pull out a video camera and it comes with the shoulder harness and the strap for the video machine and the batteries and the battery chargers and the bags and the straps and the lenses and everything. You know, so it goes from being a $100 camera to a $1,500 set of stuff or more, you know, depending on how it all, you know, jives together. I've got like stacks of stereos that just need like a belt and a cleaning and a this and a that, and polish it up and put it with some speakers and then curate a little set of 8-tracks, cassettes, LPs, 45s and stuff that go with it. So now you're not only buying a record, a vintage record player and 8-track player and cassette, stereo with speakers and everything, but you're also getting your first records and your first 8-tracks and your first cassettes at the same time. You buy this whole set. That's what makes it, right? Well, I don't own a stereo, I don't own any records, I don't own any 8-tracks. And you buy a stereo, and it's like all of a sudden you have a collection of records from a specific era. Boom. The era of that stereo. If you bought this stereo new in the store, what were the records that would be in the store new at that time, or within a few years, right? There you go. There's a set. There's a cool curated package, you know. you get a lot of hipsters that just chomp that shit up, you know. They come in and they're like, dude, that's freaking awesome, with their low cut, you know, 505s or whatever, you know, and their cool hippie Birkenstocks, you know, and their bitchin' vest, you know, and their weird hat, funny beard and hair, you know, and they're like 30 years old, and they're dressing like they're living in 1970 or something. Guys walking around looking like Schneider for one day at a time. Yeah. Oh, look, it's after 6. Isn't that neat? That means it's 9 on the East Coast over there. Wow. It's just getting light over here. It's going to be another humid day. Can't use that swamp cooler on these humid days, so we're just bogged. So it's that whole project is on hold until we get to a non-humid period where we can test it and refine it. And those pads are new, and I don't think they're holding on to any water yet. They're just not. I think they need to absorb water for a while. So, yeah. So we're just using the ACs. It hasn't been real hot lately, so it's been okay. Outside it sucks, but inside it's been okay. We don't even have to have the AC on, you know, mega all day and night. I turn it on in the morning to cool off this room because I wake up and it's muggy, and then I just set it so that it kind of comes off and on. And then at some point during the middle of the day, all of these things have to get cranked up. And then if we have to cook in here and it's hot, then it's just miserable for a couple of hours. Yeah, I like that. Trying to think of what to do for a dinner barbecue thing. I imagine we'll probably go over to our friend's house and do something at their place. Maybe we'll do maybe I'll take, I should get a couple of these 16mm projectors together and get them cleaned up and tested and take those over to his place and show a couple of these old movies, right? Because I've got some great old movies on 16, and that would be kind of a fun movie night. You know, sit around and put the projector on his porch so we could see what we're doing with the film and project it out into his yard onto a screen. And that's right, I have a new screen. We could set it up out there, strap it down so it doesn't wiggle in the wind. Set up a campfire, do some kind of outdoor food, barbecue type thing. You know, make some popcorn on the fire of the stove or something. You know, one of the very few people that I know who still don't own a microwave or have a TV regular in the house, and I love that about them. They are the most awesomest, down-to-earth people that I've ever known, and I love them for that. So it's a joy to go over to their house. Their house is all about art and music, and sports, and not sports so much as physical activity, right? They're like a family devoted to living a life, and I love that. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You know, I try to take from, you know, I try to take from that and learn from that as much as possible. And it takes little things like the trip to Arizona the other day, a day trip, 11 hours in the car back and forth, to realize that I need to get out and do more and experience things like that, right? We get out quite often and bump around, you know, to go to shows and concerts and stuff, but we need to get out and do more than just jump into a car and then pile into an arena with a bunch of people and then jump into a car and come home. We need to jump into a car and go out someplace and then get out of the car and experience that place and enjoy being out, you know. And I told the girls, look, there's different ranges of vacation rentals, right? They're not all $300 night stuff, right? We need to find something within our price range that accepts dogs. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to have a lot of crap. Just a place for us to go and take the dogs with us and experience someplace for a couple of days. Drive, you know, a day, half a day away, stay there for a couple of days and come back, right? But we can't do that without taking the dogs. But right now it's like the perfect time. Natalie's not in school. The work is kind of slow, you know. I can put this shit on hold anytime or take it with me, you know. So yeah, we just got to do more, experience more. I do a lot of traveling here on YouTube. I experience a lot more than just sitting here. I'm going to these different worlds when I have to put together a bunch of educational films to upload, or when I have to put together a bunch of these old radio shows or TV shows or something. You know, I get to go to these worlds and check them out. You know, when somebody stops by and leaves a comment, and they're from, you know, the other side of the world, you know, I get to enjoy that. Hey, good morning, Grand Canyon. There you go. I didn't go to the Grand Canyon. No, we went to Maricopa, south of Phoenix, to drop Charlie off, my daughter's friend. He had to get back, and it was becoming difficult to find someone to come to the airport and pick him up, or to the bus station up in Phoenix. So it was like, well, you know what? Everything is like dead right now. There's nothing going on. I got nothing going on until the next concert we go to, basically. Maybe a cleaning or two. I said, why don't we just drive? Why don't we just drive over there? You know, and you get to hang out, spend more time on the way. It's not that long, boring drive in a bus with a bunch of strangers, right? And we get to go for a ride. I get to have a road trip, and I've been itching for a road trip. So it was a lot of fun. We drove directly east of here and went to Parker, just south of the Parker Dam, and we got breakfast there. It only took 2 hours to get less than 2 hours from here to Parker. Way less than 2 hours. It's a great drive. And we got there, we had some breakfast, gassed up, and we shot out of town going southeast to the 10, and then took the 10 into Phoenix, and then people who aren't familiar with this side of the 10 are going, wow, what the hell does that matter anyway? So basically it was 2 hours and then 3 hours, and then 3 hours back. Actually, we took a different way coming back, a way that we couldn't take going out, because it was the way I wanted to take going out, but it was under construction. So while coming west, you could get off the freeway and get back on the freeway, you couldn't get to the east side because there was no underpass, there was nothing, it was all gone. They were completely building it up from the ground up. So it was kind of crazy. So, but it was a really, really quick trip. It was quicker coming home. And we left at 6:30 in the morning, 6:45 in the morning, and we got home at 5:45 in the evening. So it was like exactly 11 hours. You know, it was a beautiful trip. It's fun. I can't wait to do it again. I don't know where. The Grand Canyon. My daughter and wife have both mentioned, well, where's the Grand Canyon? How far away is that? Can we go there? And it's like, well, yeah, but we got to figure out the dogs. We have to figure out the dogs. We cannot take the dogs with us to a national park. Usually. That's usually the case. Nowadays, things might be different. Dogs are way more accepted in a lot more places. So we'll have to see. I'll have my daughter look into it and do the research, and then we'll get our dogs tagged and shots and whatever. We don't take them anywhere, you know. They're home dogs. So remember when Home Depot had the little stands outside Home Depot where you could buy lunch, and they sold home dogs, big giant hot dogs. Whatever happened to home dog stands, you know? Come on, Home Depot, bring that shit back. Or at least let somebody park a kitchen outside, right? Why don't you work with a guy out there, you know, get discounts for your employees. And I better check to see if there's a dog situation. You never know. Right? Fucking A right, man. I'm just happy to wake up every day. Right? It's like, oh wow. What a break this was. Oh shit, of course that probably won't always be the case. Sometimes I might wake up and go, oh God, no more, please. But until then, I'm damn glad to be here. And I'm glad you're here with me. Yeah, I'm going to have to get with my daughter and plan some kind of a trip. Even if it's just a day trip. Look, let's get up early. Let's drive out to some place. Let's hang out, you know, for 5 or 6 hours. Take the dogs, do whatever, or leave the dogs, depending on the place we're going. And just go out and do something, you know. Palm Springs is really close. That's, you know, less than an hour down the road, and there's a lot to do down in Palm Springs and to see in museums and, you know, all kinds of cool stuff. Thrift shops, record stores. So that's always fun. And then away from that, there's Idlewild and Big Bear, right? And those are really good places to go get away from the heat and to spend any day just cruising around checking out the local stuff, right? Grabbing something to eat, looking at all the shops, going for a nature walk. They've got great thrift shops and record stores up there too. There's this old guy up there who's got like a house, and it's like 2 of the 3 rooms in the house are, it's like the kitchen is now turned into just wall-to-wall records and a record bin in the middle, and then the living room is turned into a record shop with wall-to-wall records and a record thing down the middle. And then the rest of the house is storage, which is probably just more records, right? And this old guy just sits there in a chair, you know, and takes money as you walk out with records. You know, that's so fucking cool. But, you know, a little further and, you know, you're in other places, the beach, Temecula, the city, you know. And if you don't have the dogs, you can pretty much, it's unlimited what you can do. So we just have to find things that we can do with the dogs and get the dogs situated so they can go out comfortably and legally. You know, there's 4 of them, so, you know, we have to have a plan when we go out. And I think the plan is to have them harnessed and leashed, but at the same time have them in, my wife and I were looking at baby strollers, right? There was this big one where you could sit 4 kids in it, 4 little babies, and there was a place to sit, a little bench on one side and a bench on the other, and 4 seat belts, and then it dips down where kids can put their feet, right? And I'm thinking, well, if it didn't have that hole there for the feet, and it was flat, we could put a big dog bed in there, and it would be perfect for all 3 little dogs. And then we came upon a smaller one that was probably, 1.5 feet by, 2.5 feet, kind of an oval, but it looked big enough to hold all 3 dogs laying down or standing up. And then that had a canopy screen thing to go over it, and shade, and and it folds up and it can go in the back of the car really easily. And that would probably be the best thing to take the little dogs out in, because I see it all the time, and I also see little dogs down on the hot ground and down with people and underfoot, and when you got 4 dogs all going in different directions, you never know. So I would prefer to have them harnessed and in a thing where they can't get out, but they can at least adventurize with everybody else, and they just walk a big dog around. Maybe put a saddle on her and put another dog on top of her or something. I don't know. But yeah, I want to get out and do some stuff. Something. And then I don't. At the same time, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit here because this doesn't hurt as bad. But I don't mind the pain. If it's gonna get me a little fun or a good memory, that's it. Because all I'm taking with me is memories, and those are only gonna last, until the synapses all stop firing. So I'll be living on those memories in those last microseconds. So I want to have as good a memories as possible, in the end here. The closer to the now is what's freshest in the mind. Of course, when them synapses start dying out and shooting and firing in different places and grasping out for life, right? That's when they say that like your life flashes before your eyes, right? Well, I guess that's what it would be equated to, right? Is all of those things saying, hey, remember this, hey, no, wait. So, yeah, that's heavy shit right there, man. That's deep, man. Fucking A. Is my microphone okay? Because my thing I've only got it coming up about halfway now. I used to have it coming up higher, like especially in the evening, because I'm closer. But I don't usually like to sit too close to the microphone for that reason right there. So just let me know if it gets too quiet, and then I'll get even quieter. I've got to warm this coffee up. Actually, I got to get it hot. So that TV that we got that's new to us It's a smart TV, and it actually takes an Ethernet cable from the internet box here. So I don't know. I might hook that up. If it does a constant drain on my system here, I won't, because I've got 2 computers hooked up to it now, plus all the Wi-Fi shit. So my phone is using Wi-Fi right now, but it's downloading right now with a small intermittent upload, asking for more information or telling the server what's going on. But it's mainly a draw. It's pulling in. My live stuff is a constant out, right? With a little bit of in from the internet server doing, random basic information crap. So they don't really interfere with each other, right? If I start doing more stuff on the graphics computer, if I've got cloud stuff going on, that'll screw me up, because it'll be a big back and forth. Or if I'm using YouTube on this one, then it'll be a drain, and you'll start slowing things up, because it'll be more back and forth. So anyway, what's going on? Joey, how's your stomach? How you feeling? Are you better? Are you worse? Are you okay? What was the cause? Did we discuss that yesterday? I don't remember discussing the cause. Yeah. Cause, what's up? Let me reload my comments here. I never know. I never know. Yeah. You feel better. Well, good. Geez, don't tell your work that. You gotta gouge them for another day or two. You get sick pay, right? Oh, good. Excellent. Yeah, you gotta stay out of work for a couple of days. You can't go right back to it, because you don't want to have a relapse, because that's just horrible. Yeah, when I know that I'm getting sick, I take care of myself really, really good and avoid the real heavy sickness. But when you get sick out of the blue, all you can do is just take care of yourself as long as you can and give yourself the opportunity to heal. Hot. Yeah. Lots of rest, lots of liquids. That's the only thing you can do. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not much. What are you gonna do? Yeah, my head's just always all over the place. Just a constant scramble, scramble, scramble. Flakiness. Flakiness. Oh, good. You get sick pay. Excellent. Yeah, because a lot of places tout how good they are with their employees, and we're a great big family, and then they treat them like shit. And I've been to so many of those places. And it's nice that you're with an actual corporate place who actually gives a shit. Oh, see, excellent. You got a lot of sick pay built up because you never take any time off. Well, that's good. That's smart. Yeah, and then what you do is you use sick pay right up to vacation time. Right before you have vacation, you get sick for like a week, and you use up a bunch of sick pay while you're on vacation, out on vacation somewhere, and you just say, fuck it, I'm sick for a week. And that's how you do that. Of course, you probably got to get a family doctor to sign something for you. Yeah, he's sick. He's in Cancun, but he's sick. I sent him there as his prescription. Go get some sun, some fresh air. Get away from this area. Get away from your stress.
Hey, my doctor told me to do it, man. So I'll be gone for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I'll be back when I'm better.
Oh, yeah. Because you know those corporate weasels do that shit all the time. They always take advantage of that, you know, that shit that's built into their position, you know. Well, you get 3 weeks a year, but you also get the sick pay, but you also get these and these benefits and these perks. And boy, they just gobble that shit up, man. Well, who wouldn't, right? But at the same time, you got employees that are sucking hind tit because so much is going to this one executive, right? So everybody else has to get screwed. Ha! There I go again. God, this guy's so negative. I don't know, I find positivity in all my negativity. That's negatory. It's positive for me because I get out of my head. So there's that. Totally. God, I had a lot of fun doing my nighttime show last night. I loaded up about 50 new songs, exactly 50 new songs. So my song list right now, let me go. Oh, I should have saved that. Dagnabbit. All right. So nighttime nonsense and nostalgia. My 1920s and 30s jazz music is now 298 songs. It started off as a couple dozen, literally. It's like 24 songs I downloaded into a file and did my first show. And then my second show, and then went and downloaded some more for my third and fourth and fifth show, and then went and downloaded some more for the next week, while using most of what I had already downloaded. And just, so now I'm still shuffling the stuff around, but every once in a while I have to say, oh wow, I haven't heard that in a while, you know, and I have to squeeze it in, you know, and there are some where I have to hear every week, you know. So if I don't get a chance to just pick a bunch of songs and play it through my stereo, I'll have to play it on the show at least once a week, you know. I've got to hear Whispering Jack Smith, you know, every day, if not a couple of times a week. Billie Holiday, Bessie Smith, Seeger Ellis, Eddie Cantor, Rudy Valley, you know, Ruth Etting, Jeanette McDonald, Sophie Tucker. You know, these are things that I have to, you know, I hear them once, I'm like, okay, I got to hear this every week now. You know, okay, I got to hear this more often. And now every time I get on the internet and go to my sources, I just get more and more knowledgeable of 1920s and 30s jazz music, and not just jazz music, you know, because it was a lot of different things back then. And so I'm trying to dig up more blues and more old-timey country, folky type stuff. There's just so much out there that hasn't been brought out into the light for decades, right? I mean, it's some of the stuff I'm playing is 100 years old or older, right? I think one of my oldest songs that I play is from 1920. That's pretty old. You know, most of the stuff is from the 20s, and some of the stuff is from the 30s. But it's fantastic stuff, and there's more out there. And the more I look, the more I find. The more, you know, the more you know. It's just awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. I'm gonna grab a book here. I'll be right back. There. Okay. So I had to grab the books out of my bag. This is The Boys. Ron Howard and Clint Howard. And then this Who's Who in Jazz, right? This is a great book. It's got that shiny metal foil screen print on the front. It's really... and this is a 1970s book, so it's not cluttered up with modern stuff. 1972, 1978 is this version, right? And it just has an encyclopedia of names in jazz, going back to the 20s, back to the original jazz era, you know. So when I don't feel like looking on Google for something, I'll pick this up first and I'll browse through to try to find you know, something to listen, you know, something to listen to, something to talk about on the show. Find the relationships between the different artists, you know, because many of them, because it was such a small clique at the beginning, that many of them all knew each other, played together, not only in clubs and in growing as jazz musicians, but many of them recorded together, would record one song with different orchestras and different backups and different musicians. You know, Eddie Lang and Joe Venuti, Eddie Lang on the guitar and Joe Venuti on the violin. They played with the Tommy and Jimmy Dorsey Brothers Orchestra, as well as doing solo careers and playing as backup musicians, you know, in other groups. So there's just, and that's just two guys who played with everybody, you know. The Boswell sisters sang with everybody, you know, not just the Dorsey brothers, you know. A lot of these musicians, you know, all just worked together. It was just you know, jazz was jazz, and everybody knew, you know, everybody knew everybody, man. Right?
What the hell's he talking about now?
I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. So today, I will be beginning, I'm going to begin uploading next week. I took a day off from the computer yesterday. I only made 2 old-time radio show videos. So today I'll be start the uploading of what I have already. I only need 3 videos for next week. Of course, as usual, it's Nova, In Search Of, and That's Incredible. In Search Of, and That's Incredible. I have the files, I just have to create the video. Nova, I have to find a Nova and make sure it's usable, and try to find an old Nova program episode that has something to do with all of the other content that I've been uploading, because it all ties together. It all is of a certain era, the 70s and 80s, or what you would have been watching in the 70s and 80s in school, especially would have been 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, that kind of stuff. You would have watched all that kind of stuff in school in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And then the content in these educational films and shows and whatnot, they all kind of have a reoccurring theme. Back in the 70s and 80s, it would have been puberty, right? Why am I a boy? Why am I a girl? Why does this happen to me? Who am I? I feel emotional, right? So we watched a lot of those educational films on hygiene and puberty and etiquette and that kind of stuff. So that's a reoccurring theme in the stuff that I upload. Science and technology is a reoccurring theme. Culture and heritage is a reoccurring theme. The diversity of humankind. The Native Americans, African Americans, Mexican Americans, Irish Americans, all these different aspects of what it is to be an American, right? That's a reoccurring theme. Archaeology is a reoccurring theme, as well as old-time radio and educational films and old television. This is all the theme of the show right now. And this is the summer programming. At some point, this summer programming ends, and I go back to a winter programming where I become more involved with what I'm putting on the channel, right? But at this point, it's summer, and I don't want to go out and create any videos, and I don't want to have to start working on something where I need to go out and get an element out in the world, because it's the wrong time of the year for me to go out and do that kind of shit. And yeah, after several weeks of depression, this last month or so ago, I've just been worrying about taking care of me, and not trying to put myself out in the position to get screwed over emotionally or mentally. Usually by myself, I'll usually screw myself up by going, I'm going to do this, and then I screw it up or can't do it, or run out of physical drive or energy, or it becomes too painful and I just have to back off, So I'm just taking it easy. Just taking it easy. But I feel the drive to do something. And when programming changes in the fall, and more original content programming becomes the flow of things. Yeah, I think then I'll be right as rain. We're going to be doing. My daughter will be at university, and hopefully the schedule will be picked back up. But otherwise, it'll either be whatever video stuff I'm working on here, or some kind of home project, right? Because I just have to stay up and focused and motivated. And if I don't, I flounder. Flounder. I don't want to be the flounder. Get out of here. Right? Right? Yeah, it comes to this point of the day when I have to start being distracted by pain, engaging pain and pain medication. And what am I going to do? Am I going to do, is it going to be one of those days? Am I going to be back in bed in another couple hours? Am I going to try to get up and motivated, focused in on something? Hopefully. If my wife gets up early enough, we might go out and work on the front bumper fender flare into the car. The thing is that we've got to park it in a spot where we can get it up on one side, so I can get under there and look up and see exactly what's going on. So we'll have to find that spot, and the car's too low to use the ramps, right? It's just, I would have to really block it, step it up with blocks to get it to go onto the ramp safely without, and then of course now you get on the ramp, and now the ramp is in the way, and you can't really do what you got to do. So I'll just pull it up side to side on one of these high hump curbs in the trailer park here, and block traffic and fuck them. And do a little fixie. I don't think I've driven my van in over a month, maybe even longer, right? God, I hope the battery's still good on it. Crap. Maybe we should get one of those little battery chargers, and I'll go out and put a little trickle charge on it.
Did he say trickle?
Trickle, nickel. Yeah. Trickle, nickel. Yeah. Was that an old Pepsi commercial?
You would know.
Wow. Commercials. That's one thing that I need to do ASAP.
You're a sap.
Is come up with more commercials and news and commercials for the nighttime show. My new intros are fun. I've got commercials and yeah, my program guide and 6 commercials per opening, and then my opening credits. So it's actually a 7-minute opening now with all the stuff that's involved. So after my 27 minutes of Walmart music and commercials, then it goes into actual TV commercials and my program guide, and then more TV commercials, and then my opening credits. So that makes it easier for me to start my show, because I don't have to keep clicking on videos and going to dark screen or going to and then of course I need to set up my other 1930s radio in here. I think I'll do that this morning. I think I'll just pull that out and work on it. Maybe I'll just pull it out and set it here now, because I can do that. This is my house, darn it. I can do whatever I want at any time. I'm not going to get naked, so forget it. Don't even ask. But, look, some change. A little bit of cambio here. Here you give. What am I going to do? I'm going to put this change in my bag. Trickle, nickel. Let's see, let's move these little things over out of the way. And then, a little clip. Clip. A little tiny paper clip. That's cool. And a little Westways AAA magazine. And then what is this paper? It's just a blank piece of paper. Oh, look, the tags for my van that I haven't put on because I haven't been out there. So that needs to... I should probably do that today. Some social services paperwork. Right. And then a bunch of menus from local restaurants and a Joshua Tree National Park map, right? Which is things that I collect for friends who come by, or to leave at the houses for the tourists, so that they have an idea of what's around.
Hey, look, we can eat at Chin's Chinese.
All right. I love that place. I used to eat there all the time. Did we used to eat there all the time?
You know, them tourists, them funny tourists, turismos.
All right, let's see.
Trickle, nickel. My change and my little attachment. Okay. I'm gonna open this up. I'm just gonna
sides that are wrapped in plastic. This one's got its Jim Henson tribute. Alright. Now I'm going to set this radio here, because this will be my next project. There we go. There it is. RCB. There's my project. That radio. There we go. Turn that so you can see it. So that is a 1932 Philco radio. At least by the book that I have, that's what it says that it is. It's got the knobs and the window and the little plastic thing over the dial stuff in there, but it doesn't have the frame around the window. So I'm gonna figure out how to create that frame from the picture and try to find other pictures and create a little decorative frame around the screen, put a new piece of plastic over it, and try to get a light in there. For now, I just want it to go back to wood. It's got a white coat of white enamel on it. And I just want it to go back to wood. If I can't get it to go back to wood, I'll paint it so that it looks like wood. I want the dials to go back to their original color. I gotta take this white enamel off the dial, so I'm gonna have to find paint remover. Hopefully the dials are strong enough to stand up to paint remover. You know, I'll have to run tests and see what I get. You know, I don't need it to function. I just need it to look the part and light up. I need this little window to light up, so I'm gonna have to just put in a little LED back there and some kind of yellow tint to it. That'll be easy. And I need the cover over the speakers. It's going to have some kind of material over the speakers inside here in the dark area. So that's a little project there. More than likely I'm going to get paint remover and scrape all of the paint off of this stuff. That was a nail up there that I can just pull right out with my fingers. I don't want to take it apart. I really don't want to take it apart. I would prefer to just strip it, sand it, stain it, varnish it, and get it to look the part, and then have this center screen on the nighttime show. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Joey. It's a cool little radio. It really is. And I've got a book. I gotta heat my coffee up here. Let's see, where's my book? There you go. We'll check out the book. Warm up my coffee. Totally. So yeah, this book here gives me an idea of what radio is. So in this book here, you get pictures of radios, and then you get dates, prices, right? So the one that I found, these are Philco radios. Where was it? It was smooth-faced with a little line. And the 3 dials and the window. Yeah, that's the one. It's the California 1932 two-tone wood. So this would be dark, and the inside here would be light wood, and then it would have a fabric in underneath here. So, and $170 is what it's going for. Or is how much it costs new? I don't know. What is this? Boogity, boogity. Valuing wood radios. Well, it gives you a whole little lesson in here. Wood radio finishes. Yeah, and of course the finish is done. And is this a lacquer? Is this a white lacquer version? No. This was painted. Somebody painted this. Yep. So I am going to be trying to restore this to the original look, basically. So I need to strip down all of this enamel, white enamel. So paint stripper is going to be my best option. So I'll take a brush, dip it, and brush it, paint stripper in one direction, all across the stuff, and then you'll leave it for a few minutes, and it bubbles up, and it pulls everything off of the wood, and then you take a blade and you scrape it off, right? And then if no more comes up, but there's still some there, you can try it again really lightly in the spots where it still needs to come up. So I've done some woodwork before in cabinets and a lot of different types of wood. So hopefully that will help. But I'm going to have to try to get a better photograph of this thing. It's a Philco 89, and yeah, there's an 89, 89B, 89B, 19. So there's an 89, 1932, which is the one I have, and then there's an 89B, California 1935 two-tone, and then there's an 89B California 1936 all wood. They have similar knobs and slightly similar windows, but the speaker vents are very different. So the speaker vent fabric is what I'm going to have to go look at a bunch of different vintage retro style type stuff. You know, something with hash marks or some kind of burlap looking really good material. Yeah, that's going to take some take some work. Yeah, they're so similar. All these models are so similar. This arch design just shows up so many places, but this whole insert here that you can't really tell it's only a fine line here. Some of them it's actually inset. This whole piece here is recessed and beveled edges and stuff. But it looks like this one is it's got to be that 89 model. Yeah, because I don't see anything else like it. Well, it's similar, but nothing. A lot of these just have that recessed part in the center. Yeah, even that one looks more recessed than this. But those knobs are exactly the same, the window's the same, all of this profile here is the same. Yeah, it's got to be that 89. What are you going to do here? And then they go to they turn into little bread boxes, little rectangular bread boxes. They go from these really nice wood decoration things to bread boxes with speakers and dials on a bread box. And then they try to bring them back a little bit, but mostly not. Bluebird. Some of these things are just crazy looking, Art Deco, futuristic looking, cool looking things. Westinghouse. Spartan. RCA Victor. Now I might find this exact same model, only not as beveled like this one is, not as recessed, under another name, figuring they just, had it built for them by another company, and the other company just reused old crap. Because that happens all the time. Silvertone. Wow. A lot of these photographs you can tell are pulled from old newspaper ads. That's crazy. Simplex. Yeah. Gonorrhea Simplex free. Stuart Warner. Stromberg Carlson. Trutel, Westinghouse. Very similar to Philco in the 1930s. So could they have done a clone like Teak and Radio Shack? Other electronics companies just changing the face of stuff, or like cars, the Bronco and the Land Rover, right? The hybrids, the Ford Max, C-Max, and the Toyota hybrid, whatever that one's called. They're the same car, basically. Basically the same car. Yeah, well, I don't see that radio's face on anybody else here. Nope. No siree. No siree, no siree. And there's the 89 two-tone. So, that's the project right there. That radio. I'm going to have to pull this face off in order to deal with that speaker and this window. So I got to take the knobs off anyway, which means that's going to be a drag, trying to get these knobs off without destroying the machine or the knobs. Oh, well, there we go. So they took them off and coated them in this enamel stuff. It's a plastic knob, which means plastic wood. Pretty sure it's a plastic knob, yeah. Melmac or something. So rather than strip these things down, I'll probably sand out the flakes, the flaky spots, and then paint them brown, right? Just spray them a nice brown that matches the wood. And so then I don't have to destroy this Melmac trying to use paint remover, right? The paint remover will work great on this wood with this enamel coat on it, right? It should just take it right up with minimal effort and minimal marring of the wood. To try to sand it off, it won't work. If I just try to scrape it off, it won't work right. It'll just destroy the wood. So paint remover is the best option. But I need to get the front off, so I'll have to put some dabs of paint remover on these screw heads and get the knobs off and make sure there's no retainers. Cut this lower corner here with a knife, assuming that it's glued in there. Cut that really good, get this loose, really wants to come off there, and break it free. And then while I'm doing this stuff here, I can also be working on that inside. What I need to make this window is probably going to be a little Dremel set, one of those little $20 Dremel sets. What do I make it out of? I can trace this onto paper and then create draw something decorative around it, right? And then cut it out, and glue that onto something, and then carve that out of that something, carve that shape, cut out a window in the middle, and then glue that down over it with that window as the center, draw that shape on there, and then carve it out of whatever that is. Probably a really fine piece of wood, some kind of veneer, something that's just slightly raised, right? Also, another solution would be to take, once this is done, and I return it to the two-tone with the dark out here and the light in here, right? I'll do a dark interior screen, and then dark knobs on the light, dark screen on the light, and then maybe I'll draw a dark border here with some, you know, really decorative scrolling, and then just paint it by hand dark brown so that it matches the brown knobs and this in here and the two-tone situation. Now that's probably, you know, since it's just got to be on camera, it doesn't have to be a full restoration. It just has to be a prop restoration. And I think I can pull that off pretty easily. Paint thinner, some glue, a little bit of caulk back here to fill in some of this, or plaster, some wood filler, but get it all back together and just make it light up and look beautiful, right? And then I can put it up here where this reel-to-reel is and have that as the center stage for the nighttime show. Yes, indeed. Well, it was hard to get off, and now it don't want to stay on. So undoubtedly there was something in there with it holding it on, some kind of wedge or something that I popped out and didn't see it when I pulled it off of it. That's all right. It's here now. It's got to get done. Yeah, these should probably just get spray painted from the back really good and then flipped over after they're dry and get a couple of nice coats on the front. Right. And then if I can take this down to wood and sand it, stain it, and varnish it, that's going to look really good. I'm going to have to strip it, and then if I'm going to do two-tone, then I have to come up with a way to then take it back to two different tones. This looks dark here, but this looks just as dark here. So, a little bit lighter, tiny bit lighter, but not as light as it should be. Yeah, that ought to be fun. That ought to be a fun little project there. My knob. I'm playing with my knob. What did he say? Dude, he said, I know what he said. Shut up. Totally. Oh yeah, my Terrible's lighter from Terrible's gas station. My souvenir from my drive to Arizona. You know, if I'd have been in my right mind and had a budget, we'd have stopped and done a couple of things, and I'd have gotten a T-shirt, right? I haven't done T-shirts lately. I kind of phased out of my T-shirt thing. It's not completely over with. I mean, you know, I've got concerts coming up, so I've got T-shirts coming up. But I haven't been going out regularly. I did check one of my T-shirt sources recently, and they've got new T-shirts in. So I'm going to be desperately seeking new T-shirts at some point. But right now I'm just kind of falling flat. Yeah, it happens when work slows down and your budget decreases by 100%. Because this show has a pretty low budget as it is, because it's not a money-making show. You know, it's not a profitable venture at all. In fact, it's the opposite. But it pays for itself in keeping me busy and keeping me from depression. So I'll gladly put more money into this when I got it.
Another camera would be nice. Just like the other two here. Because the one that the guy sent me was fucking bogus. Because he didn't wrap it. He just chucked it in a bag and sent it. And then claimed that one of his employees did it. Hand job. Fucking hand job.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day, and one of my other people dealt with that. I'm real sorry. Is there something I can do to make you take that comment away?
Nah. Kiss my ass. That's what you can do. You deserve that comment. Wear that comment. You know, you deserve it. You have to question whether or not this guy's... Be sure to tell him, don't fucking ship it bad. I'm sure by now he's like, oh man, I really screwed that up. If it's an honest mistake, you know, then I probably won't take advantage of you saying, hey, is there something I can do? But at this point, ain't nothing you can do, man. It cost me $20 to find out that you're an idiot. Now the rest of the world needs to learn that lesson so that the comment stays. Fucking bubbles. My bubbles. Starting to get pumped up again. The coffee's starting to kick in. The pain's starting to, I don't know, wander away. I don't know if it's because I'm getting a little drowsy or what. But if I can just stay pumped up, then I can knock out a few things. Mainly I need to upload at least 5 videos today, during the day, and another another 3 this evening. So if I can do that, and then tomorrow upload six, 9, right? That'll work. It's about the same amount every day. And then by Friday I can put together my program guide, let everybody know what's going on, you know, all of what 3 people. and then I'll be happy, right? Because I'll be doing my thing. It's not so much that people are enjoying what I'm putting on there. It's the fact that I enjoy so much putting this stuff out there and doing it, doing the live, doing the morning stuff, doing all of the recorded content. It's just fun, you know. It's more for me than for anybody else. For me, and then for my daughter to enjoy at some point. But oh yeah, one thing I want to do here. Watch this. I want to get my DVD recorder. Right there in front of me. That's where it was. I'm over here bouncing around. It was over there all the time. It was over here all the while. You know, I made a drawer specific for all of this stuff. Right here, and it's been here the whole time. And there it is. So there's my DVD recorder, right? So I need to hook that up and figure out how I'm going to utilize it. Oh, I got a dog situation. What's up, Willoughby? What's going on, little whitey guy? Little white fish? What's up, biscuits and gravy? Come here. Come on. Say good morning. Oh, you're sleepy? You don't want to jump because you're sleepy? Oh, you're so cute, Oliver. You're such a cutie. Yes, you're such a good little boy. You want to come here and give me some love? You want to come say good morning? You want to say good morning? You want to say good morning from there? Is that it? I know you missed the cereal bowl, huh? Well, that's what happens when you sleep in. That's what happens. Little tiny guy. Where do you want to go? I'm on dog. It's dog time. What's up, Ollie? You want to go back to bed? All right. Right back. Well, he'll probably go out and start barking at something. Okay. Tabletop radios. 1959. So I have a couple other tabletop radios. Let me see if they're in here. Ooh, Bakelite. That's great. I've got a Bakelite turntable that's really nice. I'd really like to know how much that's worth, but it's not in here. Plastic. Wow, that's some great old plastic stuff. Cathedrals. 1, cathedrals 2. So these are styles, I guess, of styles of different types of radios in the beginning to show how to recognize them. Alright, and then what do I have? General Electric, I think is what I have. General Electric. And is my General Electric here? 2 knobs on the right. Come on, baby, be in here. Come on, baby, it's a tabletop. It's a GE. Pretty sure it's a GE. There's a lot of GE in here. So please let it. Please, General Motors. Alright, well, it's not there. It's gotta be. Here somewhere. It's a tabletop radio. God, is it? I'm pretty sure it's General Electric. Delco. Ah, man. So it's plastic, but it's not. It's plastic, not painted plastic. Not Bakelite plastic. Not Beetle plastic. Urea. Let's see.
I just can't seem to locate the particular radio. I'm gonna have to pull it out. I think I've got one of them or two of them. I'll have to pull it out. I've got a few different old tabletop radios, old stereos, all kinds of old crap. My God, I got so much old crap. It's just old crap everywhere. That's what you get for being an old crappy guy. So let's see, I've already got nighttime nonsense and nostalgia menu pulled up here. So and I printed out some more of these my sheets for doing my nighttime show. And that's how I plan out my show with my 16 songs and then my 3 commercial blocks and my opening and closing comments. And now this is an empty one. And I'll take this empty one here and write down all the songs that I want to play in what order. And then if I need to look back to see if I've played it recently, before I write it down, I look through this list that I've compiled of all of my shows in their entirety. And then I can look back a week, or now I can look back a month, but I can look back into the shows to see if I've played a song recently. I have to do that less and less now because the songs that I'm gathering, there's just a huge selection now. Apparently a dog wants to go out. You want to go outside, Bessie? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. So yeah, dogs are up, moving around, and I'm done with a cup of coffee here. Now, do I want to drink any more coffee, or let that stand? I think while I'm uploading some shows on one computer, I'll be working on In Search of Nova, and that's incredible on this other computer over here. I think I can do at least one of those 3 on this computer. And then I can, get this show together here first for tonight. What else do I have to do? Crap. Sidetracked again. This radio. Crap. My brain short-circuited again. Yeah. Hey, Sam. Pardon me. I should have warned you that was coming, but I didn't have time. Boy. Yeah, I know there's something I gotta do on these computers here. Oh, I need to go out and get some DVDs, some writables, and run some tests
on saving my uploaded shows onto disc. Right? Try them, or create them, find out how much material I can put on each disc, how many gigabytes or whatever, and then, or at this point, back then there's pretty old discs, at least 10 years old, so it could be megabytes. But if I can just get some, figure out how to get shows onto disc, then I can make multiple copies and share them that way as well, and have them saved for posterity. So that's good. I hear the trash man out there. I hear the trash man sound. There's the trash man. I know. I'm getting riled up too. I'm getting a little bit excited. Things I gotta do. Let's see. All the videos are made except for three. I believe that's it. All the videos for next week are made except for three. And that's like 32 videos, I believe. Out of 32 videos, I just need to make 3. So that's good. There's about an hour per video. Or less. And then a bunch to upload. We got a bunch of stuff to upload. Gonna be fun. Fun on a bun. Toe tally. Yeah. Oh, there goes the trash man going by. There he goes. He's the trash man. Yeah, he's the trash man. Yeah. So, go on. Go ahead. Yeah, he keeps scraping that tree. So I dug through a bunch of stuff that I had put into bags to do I created props for out buying records and stuff. And so I had stuck a bunch of new records into some bags and set them away. And I just recently pulled them all out of those bags. And I got a bunch of new records that I need to listen to. So I'm just gonna open them up and listen to them. Fuck it, I can always go out and buy records and stuff. So, yeah, I'm gonna try to get busy with a few little projects here, and while things are working here, work on some other things, and then get some other things working, and then work on some other things, and just kind of try to spread myself around and get as much accomplished as possible. If I stay busy enough, I won't need a nap, or at least I won't be able to take a nap. Yesterday I laid down for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes before my nighttime show. And I was just able to close my eyes and just lay there, right, and just get a little rest. And a little recharge, So, but I didn't sleep so much that I was up till midnight. So I may do the same thing today. Just try to stay really busy and then just try to close my eyes for 20 or 30 minutes before the show. Right? Now yesterday, before I laid down, I set up my show. So all I had to do was turn on cameras and start my feed and then just start pushing buttons. All right, play this. When this gets done playing for 27 minutes, play this. This plays for 7 minutes, and then you go live, and then you play this for 10 minutes, and then you go live, and then you play this. And it's just real easy. Because it's routine, and I can set it up so that it's ever-changing, but it's routine. It's the same. One of the things that makes it fun and interesting is gathering new materials, commercials, news, songs, that stuff. At some point, I'll boost it and add some more graphics so that we can see stuff on the screen as well as me talking about stuff. I can punch up graphics so that you can get a little trivia and information. You know, I can ask a question and then punch up a graphic that asks the question so that while you're listening you can be thinking of the answer, and then when we come back we can talk about what the answer is, right? Alright, he's in here. Let me close the door. Water and come lay down. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm out of coffee. I could get some more, but I think I'll hold off. I'm trying to cut back. Trying to cut back on everything. So let's see. Snob thing. What I'll have to do is put some plastic JB Weld in here and fill this hole and then stick it on there and get it to where it's supposed to be, and then pull it off if it comes off and trim it, well, the stuff that mushes out, and try to create a new slot, because this slot is way out of whack. Way. Wow. Yeah, you just keep spinning around. There's nothing, there's nowhere for it to grab on. Nothing. Yeah, it doesn't have to work. It just has to stay together. It has to look like it works. So, and paint thinner shouldn't be all that much. I should be able to get a little, you know, a little can of paint thinner and some little disposable brushes, and yeah, just strip it down. I've got plenty of sandpaper and stain and varnish and all of that stuff. At some point I'll need to get some, I think Bondo would probably work for the inside of that knob to create the new thing. I've got Bondo, so that'll work. I can make a small little batch of Bondo, jam it into that hole, and stick it on there, right? And then there you go. So, and then I'll probably have to do that with all of them once I pop them off, assuming they're all going to be screwed up. These screws have got a lot of enamel in the grooves, so they're going to be kind of a chore to get out. Yeah, take it apart, blow it out really good, clean it up really good. I don't think I'm even going to test it. It's all got a bunch of tubes back there, so I'm going to assume that it doesn't work. And I'll grab one of those little remote control LED light things to put in there, and that'll work. What would be great would be to replace the speaker and wire in a Bluetooth speaker box, right? And just take it and just take a speaker, really Bluetooth with a nice big speaker in it, right? And build it into the back, and that's it, and that's all you need. You reach back, you push a button, you're linked up, and now you got stuff. Just don't have a speaker in here, just have this the screen, and have the Bluetooth speaker in the back there blasting out. That's it.
So maybe I'll do that at the same time. Yeah, I think I've got a Bluetooth speaker thing that can wire in, where you can plug something into it, or you can Bluetooth it and Wi-Fi it in there. And I think that'll make that vintage and new, and make it usable, right? Make it totally usable in the now, but a total reach to the past. I think that'll work. It would be neat if I could have buttons here that turned on the Bluetooth power, you know, turned on the light power. When it turned on the Bluetooth power, it turned on a light here, you know. Have a little spot in the speaker screen where you can see a little light flashing green or blue or red or whatever it flashes to let you know that you're ready to link up or whatever. Hide it back there so you only see it when it's flashing, but then when it's off it's hidden by the screen, so it stays looking vintage and retro. And then the neat part would be to play old stuff through it, play my show through it, but play old stuff through it, you know. To figure out how to Bluetooth it with some kind of speaker box that has RCA jacks on it, so that I can link up the old Bakelite turntable that I have. If I could hook up that Bakelite turntable to this radio, that would be something, right? And then you would have a little set from the 1930s. I wonder what that Bakelite turntable originally functioned with. There's some research. Yeah, when I was out gathering this out of the trailer, I saw all kinds of other stuff that I've gathered: TVs, radios, stereos, boxes of DVDs and VHS, just tons of stuff. Out of sight, out of mind, and it just stacks up, you know. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years go by, and I've just got all this stuff. If I brought it all in here, all that vintage and stuff from the storage in the garage and the laundry area, and I brought it all and put it in here, I wouldn't be able to move. There would be so much stuff in here. Cameras and records and tapes and books and furniture and stereos and speakers, speaker cabinets up the wazoo. I mean, I've got so many pairs of old speakers, different kinds, shapes, sizes. It needs to be all in one big giant room, right? Wall to wall, shelves down the middle, big areas where there's just shelves of stereos and speakers and records and tapes. It all needs to really be in one library type environment. You know, maybe I'll curate a huge amount of it into like one room worth of stuff, and then donate it in my name to a museum, you know, as a room of this era, you know. Get some of those mannequin type things that you could, are big giant full-size art mannequins that you could manipulate and articulate all of the joints and everything, and have one sitting, you know, at a table or a couch or something with headphones on, you know, looking at an album cover, you know, somebody over here reading a book, you know, and have all of these things set up on furniture of the era with, you know, all the knickknacks and stuff, you know, and just have it all there real, you know, functioning. All the stories behind all of it, you know. That would be neat. Have a little curated room in my name at some little, you know, hole in the wall museum somewhere, and
in my hometown. That would be neat. Yeah. Anyways. What to do, what to do, what to do. Wackadoo, wackadoo, wackadoo. I guess pop the plate off my van, clean it up, put the tags on, stick it back on. I guess I should probably check my van to see if the battery's dead. Because I don't want that to happen. Last time that happened, I had to take a fully good battery and have it replaced because it just died. Something got left on or something. And it was during a period where I just didn't get into the van and I didn't check anything and I didn't realize a light was on or something. Right? That sucks. So hopefully that's not an issue. So I should check that out today. Start a few of these projects, like this one here, at least get it pulled apart so that I can put some paint remover on it. Once it's pulled apart, then I can deal with paint remover. I can deal with trying to come up with a two-tone situation again, come up with the fabric to put in there, find a Bluetooth speaker to put in there as well, and a light so I can just get everything functioning together while I've got it apart. There should be plenty of room back here to house a small Bluetooth speaker, right? It doesn't have to be big. So we get rid of this and that'll give us extra room. So that the sound is actually coming through this window here. The speaker's dead and it's wiped out completely. So I'll bag it and tag it and then at some point look for a replacement. I've got replacement speakers brand new in the box from the 1980s, but they're specific to my realistic stereos and their speakers. So I'll have to find something of this era or something of the same ohm and size and shape and all that. And then eventually wire in a new speaker here to some kind of Bluetooth functioning device built into it. But temporarily I could just wing it. Wing it, yeah. I might even be able to find a speaker that'll work. Okay, so there's two more screws here. So there's 4 screws, and they seem to hold on the speaker and a panel back here. That's another thing to keep the fabric pushed up against. So it's like a double window thing there. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. But I can't, I can't wait to get into the whole introducing this into the nighttime show. Gosh, that's going to be fun. Wow. Well, it looks like it's almost time to head on out of here. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. I've, once again, another 3-hour show with no technical issues. It seems like my technical issues are down to about once a week where things get bottlenecked and I have to wipe everything out and reboot, reinstall, clean up, and then everything works great again. As long as I make sure it hasn't fouled up my settings. So that's okay. You know, I can deal with that once a week maintenance thing. That's importante. Totally. Yeah. That radio's gonna look good on camera once it's all cleaned up. and set up here on this shelf, surrounded by all kinds of cool vintage artifacts, right? From the 1980s and back. And what's really neat is every week I can change out things on that shelf, right? And kind of bring it to life, right? Maybe daily change it. Take something off, put something on, you know, add something to something, subtract something from something, change a photograph, set up an old dial telephone, rotary dial telephone, put up an old camera, you know. Yeah, I can just totally change, use this radio as the main feature, but like everybody's houses, tabletops and shelves and things are always changing. There's always something added, something moved, something, you know, a book missing because somebody's reading it, you know, whatever. Something set out and opened up because this is what we were doing that day. So that'll help enhance the show, you know. Help every day the show will kind of tell a story about what's going on in my house. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, so I'm just about ready to wrap this thing up for the day. This has been fun. It's been real, and it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun, right?
Totally.
So, for those of you who are out there, my brother is sick and Joey's sick, and there's a few other people out there who are under the weather. I hope you feel better soon. For those of you who are interested in the reunion next year, in 1 year, it's 1 year. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to talk to you and get with you on in Messenger or someplace somewhere and talk about it and figure out what your end of it is, what you're going to be doing to help push this along. I'm going to try to get everybody involved as much as possible, right? The people who don't want to get involved, who just want to throw money at the thing, bring it on, because we're going to need a lot of it. We're going to have 3 nights of entertainment and 3 nights of food that we have to deal with. Everybody's pretty much going to be responsible for their camping, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to do a daily camping price that includes camping and food and entertainment and whatever else we're doing. But at the same time, we're going to try to be raising money ahead to offset that amount, right? So that if we raise enough money ahead of time to pay for the venue and the food and the entertainment, then you're basically just paying for your camping, right? So it'll be a minimum daily price, right? So I'll be working with my daughter this week, continuing the whole shirt thing, right? And to get something ready. And then what I'll do is I'll create a half a dozen designs, I'll get stuff ready, and then I will hit up a couple of key people that I want their input, because their input means a lot. And we'll select the first run of shirts, and we'll take orders for that first run. And I won't have anything produced except for some samples, at possibly, maybe not even that. And we'll do a first run of shirts. But we're going to have to take orders for that, because they're going to have to, the shirts are going to have to pay for themselves. I can't afford to buy a bunch of shirts and then sit on a bunch of shirts. But what I can do is work with a local shirt screen printer and have him create my screens and then print small batches. Okay? So that's going to be a thing real soon. All right? So, yeah. So until tonight, I will be talking to you, not at all until tonight. So don't even think about it. If you do want to talk to me about anything, or the reunion especially, find me on Facebook and shoot me a message, because that's how I communicate. I don't take phone calls. I don't do texting. I don't do that stuff. If you want to contact me, shoot me a message, and we'll do a phone chat on Messenger. We can do that. We can talk on Messenger. We can do a face-to-face video chat on Messenger, or you can shoot me a message and we can converse that way. And that way we don't have to give out any personal information, right? We can keep that third-party buffer, which is really important for a lot of people. Safety first. All right, people. Love you all. Be good to each other. Go out there, do something not just for yourself, but for someone else. Be kind, spread love and kindness and peace, and, stay cool, because it's a hot mofo out there. All right, people, I will talk to you on the flippity flip-flop, and until then, everybody, stay weird, because if you don't stay weird, nobody will. All right, take it easy, Joey. Love you, brother. I will talk to you again soon. And everybody else, have fun. This is your life. Adios.